It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when a bustling airport in Washington, D.C. became the setting for an unexpected turn of events. Travelers rushed through the terminal, eager to catch their flights, while airport staff worked diligently to keep everything in motion. Among the sea of people, one individual stood out, a young woman with a quiet grace. Dressed in casual attire, her expression peaceful yet resolute. She was Sasha Obama, the daughter of former President Barack Obama. Despite her famous lineage, Sasha had always tried to lead a life of normalcy. Far from the public eye, she had grown accustomed to the attention, yet she still found comfort in moments of anonymity, where she could simply be herself. On this particular day, Sasha was returning from a brief vacation and heading back to her job. She stood in line at the check-in counter, waiting for her turn, when a misunderstanding took place. The airport staff, overwhelmed by the rush and unsure of her identity, mistakenly believed she was trying to skip ahead in the queue. In a split second, an airport employee stepped forward, sternly informing Sasha that she needed to follow the rules and wait her turn. "Excuse me, ma'am, you'll have to step aside," the staff member said coldly, gesturing for her to move. Confused and taken aback, Sasha politely tried to explain that she had been in line the whole time, but her words seemed to fall on deaf ears. The staff member insisted, his tone growing more forceful. At that moment, a hush fell over the nearby passengers. Some watched in silence, while others began whispering to each other. Sasha, who had tried to keep a low profile, now found herself the center of attention. The scene quickly escalated as Sasha, despite her calm demeanor, found herself being escorted out of the check-in area. The airport employee had called for security, believing she was being uncooperative, though she had only been trying to explain the confusion. As she stepped toward the exit, Sasha's heart raced. She couldn't believe what was happening. She knew this was no ordinary misunderstanding. It was clear the situation had spiraled due to assumptions and misunderstandings about who she was. In the distance, someone noticed what was happening. It was Barack Obama, Sasha's father, having just landed after a speaking engagement. Barack had heard the commotion and immediately recognized his daughter being escorted out of the terminal. His instincts kicked in, and he quickly made his way over to the scene, his tall figure cutting through the crowd. He saw the staff member standing in front of Sasha, who looked visibly upset, yet composed. Barack's gaze shifted between the airport staff and his daughter before he spoke calmly, but with authority. "What's going on here?" he asked, his voice steady and clear. The staff member, unsure of how to respond, hesitated. "Sir, this lady was attempting to skip the line, and when I asked her to step aside, she became uncooperative." Barack's brow furrowed. He knew Sasha well enough to understand that she would never intentionally disrupt the flow of others, especially not in a setting as mundane as an airport. He looked at his daughter and saw the quiet resolve in her eyes. She hadn't raised her voice or made any scene. She had simply tried to explain, but had been misunderstood and treated unfairly. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," Barack said, his voice now more firm but still calm. "My daughter is not one to cause a disruption." The airport staff member, still unsure of how to handle the situation, stood silent as the crowd continued to watch. Barack, sensing the growing tension, took a different approach. Instead of getting angry or defensive, he stepped closer to the staff member, his tone shifting. "I understand you're just doing your job, but I think it's important we take a moment to consider how this situation could have been handled differently. Everyone deserves respect, no matter who they are. My daughter is no different." The crowd, sensing the sincerity in Barack's words, began to murmur in agreement. Some passengers who had witnessed the entire exchange started to step forward, offering their own support. "She was just standing in line," one man said. "I saw it too. This shouldn't have happened." Barack smiled, offering a reassuring nod to the people speaking up. His approach was never about seeking attention or confrontation. It was about fostering understanding. He then turned back to the staff member, softening his expression. "I believe it's essential that we approach others with empathy. A simple conversation could have cleared this up right away. We can always find a better way to handle things." The airport staff member seemed to falter. He hadn't anticipated this approach, and it caused him to pause and reconsider his actions. Slowly, the man began to realize the impact of his behavior. He had acted too hastily, too harshly, without giving Sasha the chance to explain herself. "I'm sorry," the staff member muttered, his voice low. "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Sasha, who had been standing quietly through the exchange, now spoke up. "Thank you, Dad," she said softly, "but I understand. It was just a mistake, and I don't want anyone to get in trouble. Barack placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, smiling warmly at her. You're wise beyond your years, Sasha. As the staff member apologized again, it became clear that this was more than just a misunderstanding. It was a reminder that leadership, at its core, is not about power or status, it's about compassion and understanding. Barack had not sought to embarrass the staff member or make a public scene. Instead, he had used the moment to teach those around him a valuable lesson about empathy and respect. The rest of the airport staff gathered, and Barack, taking a deep breath, shared a few words with them. In moments like this, we must always ask ourselves, are we treating others the way we would want to be treated? It's not just about rules, it's about seeing the person, not just the situation. By the time the scene had settled, the tension in the airport had dissipated. Sasha, though still processing the events, felt a sense of peace. Her father's calm leadership had diffused the situation and transformed it into a teaching moment for everyone involved. As they walked toward their gate, Sasha couldn't help but reflect on what had just happened. It was easy to get caught up in the frustrations of life, to react impulsively when things didn't go as expected. But today, her father had shown her that there was always a better way, a way that didn't involve raising your voice or asserting your power. It was the way of kindness, patience, and understanding. Barack glanced at his daughter as they sat her down in the waiting area. You handled yourself well, Sasha, he said with a smile. It's important to always stay true to yourself, no matter the circumstances. Sasha nodded, grateful for the lesson. She knew that the real power didn't lie in fighting for what was right, but in choosing to approach others with respect and empathy. As the flight was called, they both stood up, ready to board. The events of the day would not be forgotten, but they had left a lasting impact on everyone who had witnessed them. In the end, it wasn't just about a misunderstanding at an airport. It was about how we can all be leaders in our own right, not through authority, but through kindness, compassion, and the ability to see the humanity in everyone we meet. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends. To subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.